a deep, masculine laughter drifting from a woman. Standing 8 feet tall, she isn't just a monster, she is a glitch in reality. We call her Hasshaku-sama, literally 8 feet tall, a height that violates human biology. In our investigation, size is the first trigger of primal fear. The 26th of August, 2008, the signal traces back to a desperate thread on Japan, S2 channel. This wasn't a campfire story. It was a real-time survival log. In Western horror, you fight the monster. In Japan, you can only hide. She represents an ancient, inescapable curse that targets the bloodline itself. But why does she terrify us? Because she mimics the voices of your loved ones. A psychological violation that turns the concept of family into a trap. Imagine you are the victim. You are visiting your grandparents in a rural village. The air is humid, smelling of old straw and incense. You see a white hat rising above the tall hedges, a hat. No, a head. The physics don't add up. The hedge is 2 meters high. She stops, she looks at you, and then that sound. It's mechanical, devoid of breath, like a record skipping on a scream. You tell your grandfather. Watch his reaction. In the West, adults dismiss a child's fear. In this village, the grandfather freezes in absolute terror. She liked you, he says. This isn't a chance encounter. It's a selection. You have been marked by a deity of the boundary. This reveals a key cultural insight in Japanese folklore. Kami aren't always good. Some are forces of nature that simply destroy. The village goes into lockdown. This is the Kizumori confinement. You are locked in a room. The windows are covered with newspaper. 4 bowls of salt in the corners. A Buddha statue in the center. You must not leave until 7 a.m. The rules are absolute. Why salt? Salt purifies. It creates a barrier. But remember, barriers are only needed when something is trying to get in. Night falls. The village is silent. You are alone. The psychological torture begins not with a monster bursting in, but with a gentle knock. Are you okay in there? It's your grandfather's voice. Let me in. It sounds exactly like him. Safe, warm, familiar. This is the ikai trait of mimicry. It weaponizes your trust, but you remember the rule. Do not open the door until 7 a.m. You look at the salt bowls. They are turning black. The barrier is reacting. That thing outside is not your grandfather. Then the voice changes. The facade drops. The tapping on the window starts. Not with fingers, but with something huge. Let us analyze this. Western ghosts haunt houses. Japanese spirits haunt people. She is attached to you now. The night drags on. Every shadow looks like her. This is paranoia. The fear that unseen eyes are constantly watching. Morning comes. The salt is pitch black. You survived the night, but the hunt isn't over. You have to escape the village. A van is prepared. You must sit in the middle, surrounded by men from the village. Why? To block her line of sight. This is the human shield strategy, but Hasshaku-sama attacks the mind. As the van moves, you hear tapping on the window. She is running alongside the car, 8 feet tall, moving at 60 kilometers per HR. But her upper body is perfectly still. She doesn't scream. She smiles, and she taps. She wants you to look, to acknowledge her, to give her permission to enter. The grandfather shouts, "Keep your eyes closed." This echoes the myth of Orpheus. To look back is to die. You clutch the charm. It burns your hand. The physical manifestation of spiritual warfare. Finally, you cross the Jizo statue boundary. The tapping stops. Fades into the wind. You are out. But here is the tragedy. You can never return. You are exiled from your ancestral home. The bond with your family is severed. Why does this story resonate? Because it touches on the fear of the other. The isolated village versus the modern city. Hasshaku-sama is often linked to inugami or ancient curses. She is the embodiment of the land's memory, angry at being forgotten. Unlike Slenderman, who is a blank slate, Hasshaku-sama has a gender, a voice, and a sadistic intelligence. She wears white. In Japan, white is the color of death and purity. A bride, a ghost, or something that mocks both. The sound is critical. It's a non-verbal phoneme. It suggests a loss of language, a regression to something bestial. Records show similar entities in other prefectures. Kunikun, the wiggling white thing. Are they related, or different skins for the same fear? The internet amplified her. 2-channel users added details, drawings, sightings, a tulpa effect, imagination creating reality. Some say she is a kitsune, gone wrong. Others say she is a victim of a sacrifice, grown tall with resentment. The scariest part, the seal keeping her in the village, was broken. In recent years, the Jizo statues guarding the village were found destroyed. This implies the rules have changed. She is no longer bound to the village. She can travel, maybe, to where you are. Imagine looking out your window tonight. You live on the 2nd floor. You should be safe. But she is 8 feet tall. That puts her face exactly at the level of a 2nd-story window. The horror of Hasshaku-sama is the invasion of verticality. We fear what hides under the bed. We forget to look up. Hypothetically, if you hear the sound, what should you do? Do not acknowledge it. Do not look. But the urge to look is human nature. Curiosity is the trap. She relies on your need to know. There is a story of a YouTuber who went to find her. His camera was found. The footage was corrupted. We analyzed the audio from that footage, hidden in the white noise. A voice saying, "Found you." This brings us to the parasitic nature of urban legends. By watching this video, you are thinking about her. In occult theory, knowing the name of the entity establishes a connection. You know her name now. Are you safe? Probably. But why did you just check the corner of your room? The gap between the wardrobe and the wall, the space behind the curtain. She exists in the Ma. Japanese horror masters like Junji Ito understand this. The horror isn't the monster. It is the transformation of the familiar world. Hasshaku-sama transforms a summer holiday into a survival horror. She turns a hat into a threat, a laugh into a weapon. Let's return to the why. Why 8 feet? It represents excess. Too much life, too much growth, uncontrollable nature. In a conformist society like Japan, standing out is dangerous. Being too tall is a sin. She is the outcast's revenge. The legend of Hasshaku-sama is still evolving. New sightings in the suburbs, in apartment complexes. She adapts. She doesn't need the hedges anymore. She hides in the digital noise, in the glitches of your screen. Is she real? Scientifically, no. But culturally, she is as real as the fear she generates. Reality is a consensus. If enough people believe in her, she manifests in our collective unconscious. So, tonight, when you hear a strange sound outside, don't look, don't listen, and definitely do not open the door. Because the moment you wonder, is that her? You have already invited her in. Japan has thousands of gods, but only one laughs like a machine while wearing a dress. We investigate the darkness to understand the light. But sometimes the darkness stares back. I am your guide to the unseen. We decode the nightmares so you don't have to live them. Have you ever seen something too tall to be human? Or heard a laugh that didn't sound right? Tell us in the comments. Your story might be the next investigation, or a warning to others. Subscribe to join the agency. Turn on notifications to keep the barrier active. Until next time, keep your doors locked, your salt fresh, and your eyes away from the shadows.